What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF. You already know. And finally, we get our first preseason win of the preseason, man. And I gotta tell you, it was not pretty, guys. As you guys already saw the game, it was not a pretty victory. But I continue to be pleased with the main man, Kuzma. He continues to turn heads. He's just he's become our go-to guy now. So he's only 22 years of age, rookie, and you know he's already starting to take over games, guys. You have to be super excited for the kid. And we finally got Mr. Kuzma, man. What's up, fellas? Welcome to the live stream, y'all. A lot to talk about today. Not the prettiest victory, but it was very eventful. What's up, NBA vibes? So Kuzma came up clutch for us because I feel like if it wasn't for him, the momentum of the game was slipping away after we had I believe it was like a 16-point lead in the first half. So the Sacramento Kings made a comeback. They started playing defense, started putting the clamps on us, and turn off the music. I'm sorry, you guys hear music? That's crazy. Oh, my bad, guys. There was another website on, I believe that's what it was. I'm not sure. Let me see. Do you guys still hear the music? Huh? Music. Let me see. Give me 1 second, family. Give me 1 second. No, they say lower the music. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Kind of music you guys hearing, man? I'm not exactly sure what music you're talking about, but if you guys can hear me, let me know. Anyways, we finally get our first victory, man. It was tough. It was tough today, and Kuzma came up clutch, guys. He gave us another 15 points off the bench. He was aggressive when we needed him to. I was watching Hoops Hype. I think that's what it was, guys. I had it on another website. My bad. Sorry about that. But he was big time, man, and I'm excited for our future. Now, I am a little bit worried because Brandon Ingram continues to struggle, and you know everything we heard, he was looking a lot better. But he looks like Brandon Ingram rookie season, the first half of his rookie season, where he was weak and he was struggling to get to the basket. Now, I think that's just preseason jitters. Same thing with like it was with Ivica Zubac in the summer league. But hopefully that goes away and he can actually contribute. I'm not worried about him yet, but I just wanted him to have that breakout game because I feel like it'll be good for his confidence. But other than that, Julius Randle off the bench is the main thing I wanted to talk about. So it looks like Luke Walton finally took notice about sloppy play in the starting lineup, and also he wanted to improve defense, so he started Larry Nance Jr. Now I think that was the difference in the game because from the moment we started the game, you know, the defensive pressure was amazing. The first half was amazing. We had a good first half defensively. We were moving the rock. We were playing really well, even though we didn't have Lonzo Ball today again. But Brook Lopez looks amazing. What an addition, guys. He's going to make us not miss D'Angelo Russell at all, plus a combination of Kuzma. I'm very happy with the trade. Brook Lopez brings us a stretch 5, and we have not had that in a while, probably since Pau Gasol, honestly. But he looks great. He was just taking over in the first quarter. They sat him because they had him on minutes restriction. It's not that Luke's a terrible coach. It's just that he's on minutes restriction. They're taking it easy. Lonzo could have easily played if it was regular season, but since, you know, they want to make sure everybody's healthy and ready to go to the regular season, they're trying to keep everybody healthy. So a lot of people are complaining about Larry Nance. I feel you on that. Offensively, he hasn't been there all preseason long. I will say that. But I still like what he's doing defensively. I still like the way he fills the lane and plays his role. Now, back to my point. I was talking about Julius Randle off the bench. I think I'm really going to like Julius Randle off the bench. It gave him the freedom to play the way he likes to play. You know, sometimes he could push the pace. He was playmaking for teammates. He still got sloppy here and there. I didn't like when him and Jordan Clarkson were getting tunnel vision and they were just doing bonehead plays. But they started linking up at a certain point in the fourth quarter, and they looked pretty nice. So they might start building that chemistry. I do like Julius off the bench because he can bully second units, bigs, and do whatever he wants. He was stretching the floor, hitting threes, doing a little bit of everything. So, you know, hey, shout out to Julius Randle. He had a good game today. Finally, we can give him his props. So, you know, besides the fact that there was a couple sloppy plays, but other than that, he put up some good numbers, and he helped us win today because the offense was really stagnant. And that is where we miss Lonzo Ball, just to get us into our half-court sets, push the pace and slow down the tempo whenever we need be. There was times when guys were wide open and Tyler Ennis missed them, but that's why we got Lonzo. That's why we drafted Lonzo. But I really like the way Brook Lopez plays, and I still feel like Kyle Kuzma should be a starter. But I'm okay with him being that super sub off the bench. As long as he gets a lot of minutes, I like the fact that Luke is letting him finish out games. And he has gained the trust of his teammates now. You guys saw they were going to him down in the crunch time. You know, he hit that big-time three that just pretty much sealed the game away for us, you know. And then he had that little, he cuts really well, and he just continues to move without the basketball. He does everything. You know, he does everything that a small forward or a stretch power forward should do. We're not worried about Lonzo avoiding De'Aaron Fox because De'Aaron Fox didn't even have a great game, and hopefully he's okay, but it looks like he even got injured. But we put the clamps on Fox, so we're not even worried about him. Caruso owns him. He has his number in Summer League, and he has his number today. So we just trying to make sure that everybody comes back healthy. But, yeah, we saw better defense today. Of course, we played a lower team, a lower-tier team in the NBA. But still very impressive defense, especially in the first half. I believe we held them to, 30-something points in the first half, which was really good. KCP played good defense as well, and he even hit a big-time three there. Our three-ball has to improve big-time. That way teams, they don't give us that much space, and there's more lanes in it to cut to the basket. But our defense really definitely has to improve. Lonzo's not scared of nobody. If you guys noticed, Brook Lopez was ready to play since the last preseason game, but the coaching staff is taking it, with precaution. There's only 2 games left till the regular season starts, so believe me, Brook Lopez was on limited minutes. He was on fire in that first quarter. He looked like he was getting ready to go out for 20. But, the coaching staff's just taking precaution. Nobody's worried about De'Aaron Fox. He's a rookie. He's a promising young rookie, but he's just a rookie, guys. So ain't nobody ducking him. But I appreciate you guys, man. I got to tell you, again, I do like the dynamic. I hope that Jordan Clarkson steps up his game because he was really sloppy today. He plays with a tunnel vision, guys. I'm not sure if it's jealousy that Kyle Kuzma is starting to get the shine, even though he's just a rookie. But he's starting to play with tunnel vision, and I don't like it when Jordan plays like that. Now, towards the end of the game, he started moving a little bit without the basketball better, and he started, playmaking a little bit more. But he's so much better when he uses his speed to get into the lane and kick it out, or when he just moves the basketball and it doesn't stick to his or Julius Randle's hands. Again, Julius Randle played probably one of his better games in the preseason, and he came off the bench, so I think that's a spot for him. I would prefer Kuzma starting at the 4 just so we could stretch it out, so we could stretch out the defense even better. I mean, you guys saw Big Brook was 2 for 2 beyond the arc, and he has a soft touch. Brook Lopez reminds me of when we got Pau Gasol and how the dynamic of our team just changed. I believe we would have probably won 2 of the last 3 preseason games had we had Brook, but again, preseason games don't matter. A lot of people are giving up on Brandon Ingram. I'm not ready to give up on him yet. I feel like this happened last season, and once he found his confidence, once he had those breakout games and he saw what he could do, his confidence picked up, and then he didn't look back from there. But this is a new season, and he has to find that same confidence all over again. Yes, great point. Kyle Kuzma was also great rebounding today. There's some people that say, oh, we can't start Kyle at power forward because he's not a good rebounder. Well, he had 8 off the bench today. I believe he's a hustle guy. He's an all-around player. I think he's going to be right. I think he's going to be perfect there at the 4 or the 3. But I would prefer him to start at the 4. That way him and Brook Lopez could both stretch the floor for us. B.I. still has a load of potential. Anybody that gives up on young players 3 preseasons in, come on, guys. You guys have to start questioning your basketball IQ. Imagine if other teams that gave up on their young stars 3 preseason games in, and then they turn out to be the next James Harden or the next Curry. Curry, as good, even though he showed flashes, they had to trade away Monte Ellis for him to truly show what he could do. So a lot of it is, personnel. I feel like this team is deep, and we saw that tonight. We went deep into the rotation, and we got to do some things that we hadn't seen other nights. So I really like the way Caruso played, by the way, as well tonight. He has great playmaking abilities. Of course, his jump shot could be improved, but everybody's jump shot could be improved. Everybody that's hating on KCP, guys, he played a major role for us defensively tonight. If you guys stop watching the ball and actually pay attention to the game, and you see the way he's rotating off screens and actually causing havoc, a lot of the turnovers are created, they start with him. He gets into passing lanes. Guys are rushing the pass now because he's around. He's just a great defender. And you know, he hit a big time three for us that changed momentum. We were starting to give up the lead. So that's all going to improve when regular season starts. I'm not worried about preseason so much, but I am very encouraged by the play of Kuzma. You know, I did like the play of Julius off the bench tonight. I loved Brook Lopez. Was everything I expected him to be. You know, he's going to be that 20, anywhere from 15 to 20 points per game at night, per night. You know, and he's going to be the type. This is the reason those 18 to 20 points per game are crucial from Brook Lopez, because he's a big man who plays close to the basket. So his buckets come more efficiently than a guard's buckets, who probably have to jack up more shots and take us out of the flow of the offense. Everything he does is going to be within the rhythm of the game. It's going to continue to click for us. So Brook Lopez was big for us tonight. He had 12 points very efficiently. He showed the soft touch, showed a little bit of everything, some post game, some mid-range jump shot, some three ball, and I liked his length, the way he recovered out to the three ball to cover for the wide open 3-point shooter. So it was great. This guy's gonna fit in perfectly. Everybody, like I said, don't give up on Brandon, man. He's still a project, but he has a lot of potential still. Everybody's worried about, you know, these guys not showing up in preseason. Well, there's been star players in the NBA that only have scored. Look it up. I forgot who, but I was looking at the box score, and I think Kristaps only had like 6 points tonight. Does that mean he's a bust? Of course not. He showed what he could do last season and the season before that. But you guys just have to be patient with these young kids. You know, they're still trying to find their footing. Brand new team, so you got to carve your niche. You got to carve your role into the brand new team. See where you fit. That way you don't take your team out of rhythm. So. Don't worry about Brandon Ingram. He's going to be totally fine. I'm sure the coaching staff knows it. But just be encouraged. Be encouraged by the young talent we have. Be encouraged that we might have found a six-man type role for Julius Randle. He looked great. He almost looked like Lamar at times, taking it coast to coast. If he can buy into that role, that six-man type role, you know, Lamar Odom can make your teammates better, take it coast to coast, rebound, do a little bit of everything, then Julius Randle can actually be effective for us instead of, you know, people clamoring for him to be traded. But, you know, again, this team hasn't had a consistent lineup because it's been nothing but injury. So we haven't seen what our actual starting lineup is going to look like. We still need to incorporate Lonzo with Brook, with Brandon Ingram, and whoever's going to be at the 4. Obviously, Julius didn't start tonight, so that means, you know, the coaching staff's not satisfied at the 4 position, which means there's an opening there for your boy, man. How can you not cheer for your boy Kyle Kuzma to be the 4? You know, starting 4. I believe him and Lonzo Ball would have dynamic chemistry. I can't wait. You know, and also I think Julius Randle and Jordan Clarkson have good chemistry, and we saw a little bit of that in the 4th quarter. Again, they're still sloppy. They still need to tighten up, especially Clarkson, man. I just hate it when he gets tunnel vision. There were times when he was running the lane. He was coming down on transition, and Kyle Kuzma's running the lane, and he looks him off, and he goes right, and he gets blocked. Situations like that, you know, he needs to improve in that area. Jordan Clarkson needs to be a combo guard, which means not just a scoring guard. He needs to be able to play make as well at times. We all know he can score, but the defenses are game planning for you to score. So now you got to switch it up. Same thing with Lonzo. We all know he could pass, but then he has to switch it up and try to score sometimes. So we have all the right pieces to make the playoffs. We just got to put the correct formations together, and I believe Kyle Kuzma in the starting lineup to go with Brandon Ingram, KCP, Lonzo Ball, and Big Brook Lopez is the right combination. I think that combination will be beautiful to watch. I think it'll be effective, and I think we'll still have enough firepower off the bench. We still have Jordan Clarkson. We're still going to have Julius Randle there. We're still going to have Larry Nance. You know, we're still going to have some firepower off the bench, as well as Tyler Ennis running the offense. So don't even worry about that, guys. We just haven't found the perfect personnel now. I agree. We need to start Kuzma. I mean, he's showing it all. The way he's taking over games, he doesn't look like a rookie. He looks like a veteran. He looks like a wily vet. And, you know, that turnaround jump shot he did, or it wasn't a turnaround jump shot. I'm sorry. It was like a spin move layup he did to ice the game when the game was on the line, you know, to put it out of reach kind of. That's the kind of player. He's going to be our go-to. I could already see it. Brandon Ingram's going to have to take a sidekick role the way he's been playing. Unless he steps it up, Kyle Kuzma should be the go-to at the end of games for reals. Hey, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the live stream. And a lot of people, I don't know how you can say Kuzma isn't ready. Every single game in summer league he balled out, and every single game so far in preseason. So he has a whole arsenal, all kinds of post moves, the great footwork, and he doesn't force things. I love his playmaking ability as well. So he was getting people involved. He got, Big Zoo, a wide open jump shot, a couple of them actually. I think he even had a no-look pass today. So he played well. He had 15 points and he iced the game for us. I think without him, I don't think we win tonight again, unfortunately. But him, Brook Lopez, and Caruso with Julius Randle, they were the players of the game, man. Come on, guys. Don't say that. A lot of people are starting to say, hey, we need a new coach. It's early. We can't make these kind of decisions in preseason because coaching staff is still adjusting. We got to be patient. We can't be that kind of fan base that just starts looking for fingers to point when we take L's and when things aren't panning out. We got to remember we're young. We are young, and it's going to be tough to have a consistent team throughout the season. We're still trying to develop that consistency, that cohesion as a unit. So that's going to take time. Time makes everything better. Remember, this is a brand new team. We have damn near 10 new bodies on the team. So we got rid of more than half of the roster. So, I'm not worried about Luke. I'm not worried about Brandon. Don't hit the panic button, guys. Remember, we're young. Our goal this year is to make the playoffs. But our main actual goal is actually to continue to develop and show that we have young players with promise. And we're starting to show that. Kyle Kuzma is one of them. Lonzo Ball is going to be another one. And I hope Brandon Ingram can step it up. I think he will. So don't worry about it, guys. Everything's going to be good. What's up, LA Forever? Welcome to the live stream, fam. Now, this is the part of the live stream where I take you guys' questions and I try to answer as many as you guys can ask. So the first one was, Dan, what do you think Caruso's role is going to be? Well, Alex Caruso played really well, but I don't see him in a scoring type position. I do like he can play defense and hold his own. So he is on a two-way contract, so the maximum amount of games he could play in the regular season is 35, I believe. So unless they ink him to a regular contract, we will not see him a lot during the regular season unless there's injuries. So that's the kind of role I see him fulfilling. But that's a great question, and I do like Alex Caruso, but we might need a little bit more better shooting from a guard than what he can provide for us because our three balls are not falling. We're getting a lot of wide open shots, but other than Brook Lopez and Kyle Kuzma, we need a third and fourth efficient shooters. KCP hasn't been able to do that for us thus far, but I expect his shooting to improve. I follow him throughout his career, and he's been a 35% three-ball shooter throughout his career, so that's pretty decent. So let's see. Dan, what do you think of Ingram so far? I answered this one a little bit earlier. Again, I said he had me worried a little bit, but then I thought to myself, you know what? It's only preseason. He looked this way last season, around from preseason all the way to like January. So that's when he started improving. Hopefully this year he can find himself earlier. We need him early in October, and we need him, all the way through. So I think with him it's all about confidence. Once his shot starts falling, once he starts doing whatever he wants in the court. Right now he's getting bullied around. He's forcing the issue. He's trying a little too hard to be that 20-point-per-game scorer. I think that pressure has kind of gotten to him. He needs to take a step back and just buy into a role and make sure he's effective for our team. We need an effective player, not a player that's going to force things and then end up, making our team more inefficient. So that's what I think about Ingram. Do you want Bogut to start the next game? No, because he's been injured. So if he does get to play the next game, I just want to see him in limited minutes just like Brooks so we can see what he can do. Bogut might not even make the roster. You guys have to don't forget that this is not a guaranteed contract. So we're looking for effective players, and if Bogut's going to be injured all season long, then that's a contract we might have to just pass on over. Who will facilitate when So is eating? Everybody has to facilitate on this team. We don't have a superstar on the team, so we have to play by committee, meaning the ball has to move and it needs to get to the hot hand. We see Kuzma facilitating a little bit. Randall's facilitating a little bit off the bench. Caruso, Tyler Ennis. Everybody has to facilitate. So you got to ride the hot hand. That needs to be our mindset because, like I said, we don't have a Paul George. We have a bunch of young players with a gang of potential, but nobody is, other than Kyle Kuzma, has been efficient all year long. So again, this is just preseason. We got to still see if Kyle's going to translate to regular season. I'm like 80% sure it will, but it's yet to be seen. But great questions. Hey, thank you, Michael. I appreciate the donation, man. Let's see. Let's read your message. Luke isn't getting Kuzma enough shots. I agree, but a lot of that has to do with Kuzma, too. He wants to take better shot selections. Sometimes he had an open shot, and he passed that up for a better shot to a teammate. So a lot has to do with him. But he's getting enough. He got enough shots down the stretch, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I agree. With more minutes, he's going to get a lot more opportunities, man. I'm not even worried about it. He has for sure guaranteed himself a major role in this rotation, whether it's starting or off the bench. But he's already a candidate for Sixth Man of the Year if he plays like this off the bench. So I'm happy, man. What do you think about Larry and Randle's jump shot so far? Well, Randle's jump shot, the form hasn't improved a lot, but it's been more effective. The mid-range shot has been falling. And that 3-ball, he's hit a couple already this preseason. So I'm happy that one's falling. Now, Larry Nance doesn't seem to feel confident enough in his jumper, so I'm not sure about that one. But Larry Nance as a whole, I feel like his mind is not in this preseason. He needs to get back on track because he was a great high-energy, high-effort player, low maintenance, and he got his extra possessions and stuff like that. I feel like that's where his bread and butter is. But that's another good question. Thanks for that. Wasn't he supposed to be our top scorer? Brandon Ingram? Yes, exactly, Jeffy. So a lot of pressure was put on Brandon Ingram to be the top scorer, and I feel like he's been probing, you know, but his confidence, you can tell it falls off when the game is not going his way. Now, when he starts off hot, you can tell his aggression increases as the game progresses. But let's be honest, the refs haven't been the greatest neither. I mean, teams have been getting away with ticky-tack fouls, and then we can't even touch our opponents before we get called for a foul. But what can we do? We have no star players, so we don't get star calls right now. Should Randle come off the bench? Yes. I believe Randle is. I feel like he was more effective tonight than, you know, all 4 preseason games combined off the bench. So I like what I saw tonight. He's still a little bit sloppy. Got to tighten it up. I don't like it when they get tunnel vision and try to go 1-on-5, him and Clarkson. But I mean, he showed good chemistry with JC at the end. So if any chemistry we can build between players is good because it improves. They improve the team when they're on the floor together. Which player do you think Kuzma is most similar to? This is a question I've been getting asked a lot. Some people have been saying Scottie Pippen. That's a little too high, bro. I think a two-way Carmelo. That's what I've been saying. Like Carmelo, when he first came into the league, he had post moves. He had good footwork. He could shoot. He was quick to the basket. So I think like a two-way Carmelo, but I think Kuzma will be better on defense. I kind of wish Kuzma would start. Hey, thank you, Michael. Once again, I appreciate you, bro. I feel you on that, man. I'm cheering for the kid too. If Kuzma can start at some point, it's gonna make a lot of Laker fans happy. I like him at the 4 though because he can stretch the floor. Him and Brook Lopez stretching the floor for us is gonna be a problem in this league. There's not a lot of bigs that can, you know, that you don't have a lot of stretch bigs that can play at center and power forward. You either have one at center or at power forward, but you rarely have one at power forward and center. So I think that would be good, and if Brandon's shot starts coming along, that would be pretty lethal. So we'll see what happens, though. The defense was really good, if you guys realized it, though, when without Julius Randle on the floor. So that's one thing I really liked about Larry Nance starting is that he always plays good defense. Brandon Ingram plays good defense because of his length, and Lopez showed me that his length is going to be a factor. So I liked it, man. Dan, have the Lakers given up on Big Zoo? I hope not, because the kid has a world of potential. I mean, I still love his soft touch. I feel like defensively he can improve. They said he dropped down to 8% body fat, but it's not translating to his feet movement on the court. Like I don't feel like he's rotating quick enough. Hey, by the way, what's up, Sean? I haven't seen you in a minute, man. I'm glad you asked me the question. I just realized it was you. But I feel like Zoo still has a world of potential, and eventually it's going to be his time to shine, especially if Andrew Bogut continues to be injured or they don't sign him. So I hope he gets a chance because he still has potential, guys. I'm not worried about him. A lot of people, look, this guy SD, he says he prefers Bryant over Zubac. So a lot of people, I feel like we have fans that are quick to turn on our players in favor of new players, and that's good sometimes because it helps you get over old players, but at the same time that's not so good because we have to remember that those players still exist and they still have a lot of potential. Just because we drafted new players doesn't mean we should just throw the old players to the side and be like, they're worthless. No, we still got to work on them and develop them because eventually it could just click all of a sudden for a young player. Young players are like projects, and when it clicks for them, they either become good role players, good starters, or good star players. So we hope for, you know, the latter. We hope for a good star player out of everybody, but some of these guys are just going to be role players, and that's the reality of basketball. Not everybody can be a star. Some guys just have to buy into the role, and that's what I'm hoping for Julius Randle. I hope he buys into his role because we can use somebody like that off the bench. Hey, what's up, Raheem? How you doing, bro? Thomas Bryant or Robert Sacre? Who's better cheerleader? Oh, man. I miss Robert Sacre off the bench, bro. Robert Sacre was great, but I like Thomas Bryant. I really do. But Robert Sacre was a classic, man. That guy was like the ultimate team player. Kuzma looks quicker than the other power forwards. I agree, Jonathan. That's why I would play him there, because he can exploit them all and get to the basket or just shoot. He has a quick release, guys. He can get that shot off whenever. Should we trade one of the bigs for a backup point guard? If Lonzo goes down, our offense is screwed. We have a backup point guard. His name's Tyler Ennis. He started tonight, but he still plays he plays a lot better off the bench, but he still plays solid tonight, man. He still played solid. So I like Tyler Ennis off the bench. If not, hopefully Josh Hart could fill that role in, because I see that Jordan Clarkson is really not a point guard. He just focuses on scoring. So you might have a point there, but I also like Caruso running the point if we need him to, once in a while, just in case of injury. So that's why we have him on a two-way contract. Good question, though. Dan, what do you think of Kuzma working out with Kobe? That would be great. Not just Kuzma. I haven't heard of Brandon Ingram work out with Kobe yet. Maybe he did and he's keeping it on the low. Maybe it'll pan out later on down the road, down the season. But I have a theory with Brandon Ingram. I feel like he's saving a lot of what he has for the regular season, because if players go all out now, when the season starts, they're going to be on scouting reports. Maybe Brandon Ingram is waiting till regular season to go all out. That's my theory. I could be wrong, but I think I've seen him, and he doesn't look as aggressive as he looked at the end of last season. He looks aggressive in spurts at times, and when he does, he gets to the rim, and good things happen. But I feel like Brandon Ingram right now is just saving himself for regular season. That's my theory, though. Just a theory. And I'm sorry about the music in the background, guys. Neighbors are having a party, so it's all good. We don't know that Kobe Bryant, we don't know that Brandon Ingram didn't work out for him. For all we know, he could have worked out for him, or maybe they scheduled it later on down the season. We don't know. Kobe Bryant's time is probably money to him, man. He missed out on years with his family, and that's what I've seen him doing all season long. So, shout out to the great GOAT KB24. Do you think Lopez could be a part of this team after this year? I mean, if he provides that veteran leadership and we win a couple of more games because of him, and the players just, they become a cohesive unit with him, he becomes a major part of the team. Yes, the way he played tonight was great. If he continues that, which I think he would, I don't see a reason why maybe Brook won't take a pay cut and come back with us, with a contender team. He loves LA. He's a Cali kid, and I feel like he fits in right here perfectly, man. Ingram needs to use strides. I agree, man. There's a lot of times where I was like, come on, Ingram, just be aggressive. Sometimes he needs to pump fake and use a variety of moves to finish, because, he's being predictable at times. Like the time when he finished with the right hand when he could have used the left. But he's going to improve, guys, and I wouldn't worry about that. I'm going to take one more question before I get off, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's going to get exciting, guys. Kyle Kuzma's the real deal. This kid's going to be here all season long. I'm glad we drafted him. So it would have been a lot worse if we did the D'Angelo trade and whoever we picked there at that position wasn't that great. But the fact that he's so good makes me, who's D'Angelo Russell at this point? Him and Brook Lopez are good. They're just gonna give us so much more production. I'm not worried about it. So, all right, would you trade Ingram if he continues his play? Ooh, that's a tough question, man. That's a tough question, bro. I'm not sure if I would trade Ingram, because I've seen the potential, and I would hate to give that away to another team, especially if you can't get what he's worth in return. Like, I wouldn't trade Ingram unless we got a superstar in return. That's how highly I think of him. But honestly, I'm not even sure if I would trade him then. Now, if it comes to December and he's still struggling like this, then I don't know. All bets are off with Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson's all about his money. He's all about his business, and maybe something will go down or something, something else won't. I don't know. But I'll take a couple more questions. I see a couple more on the board, man, before I get off. Let me see. What's the realistic measure? And they're coming in kind of fast. Let me go back up a little bit. Okay, let's see. What is a realistic measure of a successful season this year? What we're seeing, man. Young players like Kyle Kuzma showing promise that they're going to be stars in the future. If we can do this in crucial key games, like when we play the Thunder, and Paul George can buy in to come this way, then it's been a successful season. At the end of the day, if we make the playoffs and get swept, what matters is that our young players got the playoff experience, and it's going to make them hungrier. And if we don't make the playoffs, but at least we're able to turn heads and get people to come this way, then it was a successful season. Because at the end of the day, whatever we get in 2018 is going to be, the main goal of this season. So, Dan, do you think we'll get Paul George? My last question, guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I do think we're going to get Paul George. If you guys have been watching the Thunder in preseason, guys, they struggled tonight. They barely beat some foreign team. I think they were an Australian foreign team. And that team would have made history. They lost by a point, but if they would have beat the Thunder, they would have made history. But I think the chemistry there with 3 ISO scores is not really going to work out. And on top of that, they have a weak bench. So all that with the combination of the lure of playing in his hometown in LA, plus Lonzo Ball on your team, the future looks bright if he comes this way. Especially if we're able to add somebody else as well, like DeMarcus, LeBron, or somebody like that. So yeah, I do believe Paul George ends up here in LA. Let's cross our fingers and hope that that's the case. But if it's not, either way, we have a bright future and we got a lot of cap space. I appreciate you guys for coming out tonight, man. I will be covering the Tuesday night game, and we're almost, we're 9 days away from regular season. So hang in there, Laker Nation. It should be a fun season. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. One love, man. If you already haven't, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.